Welcome back, YouTube. General Soul back with Persona 3 Portable. And this entire video is going to be our run through Tartarus. So this is our base of operations. Right now all we have is ourselves, Junpei, and Yukari. Nothing else. And Mitsuru is our support. So I was going to come over to the Velvet Room to make a new persona, but I'm not high enough level, as we're going to see. So we do have several goals that we have for this run of Tartarus. Goal number 1 is reaching the 16th floor, which is as high as we can go right now. So the way Tartarus works is you can only go so high, and then you're going to have to beat a boss to unlock the next tier. So for right now, until we beat our first boss, we can only go to floor 16. We want to reach level 7, which that's going to be very easy. The only way you wouldn't get to level 7 by reaching floor 16 is if you're avoiding fights. But we specifically want level 7 to get a certain persona that we're going to need. When we get to floor 16, there is going to be a chest that contains the old document 01. We want to grab that. We want to try, this is not required right now, but we want to try to get a muscle drink in one of the chests in this run of Tartarus. When we get to floors 4 through 11, there will occasionally be rare golden chests. You will know what they are when you see them. You want to try to get a weapon called a Juzumaru, which is a sword for Junpei. We want to try and get one on this run. Again, if you don't get it on this, if you do not get Muscle Drink or Juzumaru on this run, don't worry about it. We're coming back. We want to, when we get done with this run of Tartarus and sell everything that we've collected, we want to have around 50,000 yen to cover expenses until the next time we come to Tartarus. And there are 2 personas that we want to have when we get out of here. So here is Merciful Maya, new monster. So we're going to scan 1. Junpei, stop. Okay, so it's weak to everything but fire. It's strong against fire, but ice, lightning, and wind work. Which would be awesome if Junpei and Yukari had spells. And I think the only thing I could really do is switch to Apsaris and hit it with ice for a weakness. Now, for shuffle time, you want to try to get the kill with your main character. That will guarantee a shuffle time. If not, you want to try and get one more by hitting them with a weakness or getting a critical. That gives you the chance of getting a shuffle time if someone other than your main character kills them. But if you want guaranteed shuffle time, your main character must kill them. So we got a wood stick for a better weapon. Why don't they just call it what it is? A hockey stick. So yeah, as of right now, for the first few floors, the only personas you can get through shuffle time are Pixie and Apsaris. There is a very, very rare chance of another persona, but it's more likely to happen once you get to floor like 6. Okay, another new monster. I'm trying not to kill them, so okay. Weak to ice and wind, strong versus fire. Well, I have Apsaris on, and I didn't want to use my magic because I figured I could kill it. Alright, so Leaf is XP. The sword is a weapon. So, for right now, at this point in time, priorities for cards. If it's a persona I do not have, I want the persona. Then I want the sword for a weapon, because that will give me more, generally will give me more money than getting the coin for money. Coins will just flat out give you money, Sword will give you a weapon. Sometimes those weapons are going to be better than what you're currently equipped with. Sometimes not, but you can sell those for generally more money than you will get from the coin. Leaf is the XP. That would be our next priority. If there's no coin, no sword, get the XP. Then if you have no choice but to get the cup that will either heal just you or your party. And it's not, right now at this level, it's not going to heal you very much. So I don't really like the cups at this point. Later I do. So what we're going to do is, if it's a monster I've already faced, I'm going to edit out the battle. I'm only showing the level up screen here, because Orpheus leveled up to level 3, which Orpheus gave me the Augie skill card. That is new to Persona 3 Portable. I don't believe that was in Persona 3. I don't recall it in Persona FES. Skill cards were introduced in this game, and what you do with the skill cards is you can teach that skill to another persona of yours. Can't do that with any of your party members. Finally, Yukari and Junpei are level 5, so they can finally use Augie and Garu. If you can't tell, now each party member is going to be a specific element. Yukari will only learn wind spells. Junpei will only learn fire spells. Now in this game, in this version of Persona 3, Junpei is lacking in the fire. He's more physical attacks. Because he never gets higher than, like, basically level 2 fire. And he never gets a fire skill that will hit more than one target. So as far as fire goes, Junpei is not it. He is mostly going to be physical attacks. Period. Okay. Come over here, kill you. Okay, there's the stairs. So I'm going to completely map out each floor and fight everything to get XP. You don't have to if you don't want to, but I'm going to. Now, a big difference between Portable and Reload compared to Persona 3 and Persona 3 FES is you don't get tired as you're exploring Tartarus in the newer games. In the original Persona 3 and Persona 3 FES, as you explore Tartarus, you and your party members will become tired. You can continue exploring while tired, but if you go back down to the first floor while your party is while any of your party members are tired, they're going to say something like, "I'm too tired to continue," and they're going to take themselves out of the party. Not a big deal. When you get more party members, you can just switch them out. But in this beginning part, you're basically only going to explore a few floors before you're pretty much going to want to go back to the first floor. They're going to take themselves out of the party, and you're going to be forced to end your exploration of Tartarus unless you want to go by yourself. So I've pretty much already showed you all the monsters in the first 4 floors, and as Mitsuru is telling you, there is a stronger shadow on the 5th floor. Once we get past that shadow, we're going to start seeing a couple of new shadows in floors from floor 6. That's generally going to be a theme. A lot of the shadows will be the same all the way out, but as you get higher, you'll start seeing new, stronger shadows. So this is a new one. This is weak. We don't really get to see it, but it's weak to fire. So Junpei is going to be the man against that thing. As we see, Yukari is not going to learn any new skills until she's level 16, but Junpei at level 7 will get Repatra. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention is if you're following along, you may have already noticed, Tartarus is completely random. The layout, how many chests, what are in the chests, what monsters, completely random. So if you're playing along in Tartarus, you will have a completely different experience from me, where I might run into some rare chests that have awesome gear. You might not see a rare chest. Where I might run into some really powerful shadows that give me lots of XP, you might get the weakest shadows constantly. Like where I get an access point where I can go back to the first floor, you might get a floor that doesn't have an access point at all, and you have no choice but to go up to the next floor. Now, the Jujumaru that I talked about that we need to get, you can start seeing the rare chest on floor 4, and that's a rare chest. Alright, showing this one because I get a Dia card from Pixie. Dia is the basically cure spell. This is the heal spell. But we have a Jujumaru in this chest. It is not guaranteed that you're going to get a Jujumaru if you see a rare chest. You might get a piece of armor, or you might get something else. But we got a Jujumaru. Best weapon right now for Junpei. Since I've got the Jujumaru now, do not sell all of Junpei's weapons. Keep one of his lower level weapons, because there's going to come a point pretty soon where I'm going to need to take that Jujumaru off of Junpei, and he will not remove it unless you give him another weapon. Alright, floor 5. We have 3 shadows here. Well, yeah, so basically this is a mid-boss room. Mid-boss rooms do not change. First floor does not change. The barrier floors do not change. Everything else changes. But in these mid-boss rooms, you have a teleporter that you can activate. And this basically gives you an access point to go back just to that floor. Alright, so if we were playing Persona 3 or Persona 3 FES, we're not going to be fighting those mini bosses right now, because they're probably Junpei and Yukari's like, I'm too tired. Alright, so what I'm going to do here is, if you combine Apsaras and Pixie together, you get Nekomata. This is one of the personas that we want to have when we get out of here. So make sure you have this persona when you leave. Now, if you're playing male protagonist, you have a larger list of personas, and you don't need a Nekomata at this point. Nekomata is the Magician Arcana, so it gains some experience because we've started the social link with Junpei. Okay, so we want the Omikane, but that's why we need to be level 7. We cannot make Omikane until we're level 7. So that is exactly why we wanted Omikane, or wanted to be level 7. So now we can go back to level 5. If you go up the stairs, you have the option of either going to floor 2 and climbing the entire tower again, or going to the highest floor you've ever been to. The teleporters will just take you to the floor of the teleporter. So here is our first mini-boss. These are Venus Eagles. They will drain fire, so do not use fire or Augie on them. They will nullify wind, so do not use Garu. They will nullify light and dark, but you should not have either of those by this point. But they are weak to piercing, which is the damage type that Yukari does if she ever fucking hits the enemies. So I'm going to have Junpei just attack to weaken them, and I'm going to have myself lower their defense, Yukari knock them down, and then we'll all out attack them. I have not mentioned it, but we, at this point, should have two trophies that we should have gotten. Advantage Mine. Advantage Mine is hitting an enemy that is unaware that you are there and getting a player advantage. We should have had several of those. That first fight, I think, should have gotten that. So that's Advantage Mine. That's our second trophy earned. And once you have a second persona, you have to kind of drag out a fight for this, but you can get Displaying Adaptability. To do that, you want to have Yukari and Junpei block for 5 turns and have your character switch personas and block for 5 turns. And after the 5th turn of switching your persona, that trophy will pop. There is one more trophy that we can get, but we have not run into what we need to for it yet. And there is a second one that you have a chance of getting depending on your luck with rare chests. I do like that critical hit from her, though. And that is our first mini-boss. Very easy. Mostly because we have Yukari, if she ever fucking hits her target. We get some XP and 3 Empress Masks. Those are specifically for selling. They have no other use. So that's going to help with the 50,000. And we are now level 7. We can make an Omakane. So just make sure that when you leave Tartarus for the night, you have a Nekomata and an Omakane. If there are other ways to make an Omakane other than Nekomata and Orpheus, and I will show you another one. But if you do need to do Orpheus and Nekomata, Pixie and Apsaris will always make a Nekomata. Alright, so now we can start seeing some new shadows here. So let's see. Let's go this way first. This way's got a monster or a shadow. Alright, new shadow. These are Obsessed Cupid. They are weak to ice, so Bufu magic. So I'm just waiting for Mitsuru to scan them. Unlike Reload, where you have to figure out their weaknesses by trial and error, in this game, if you just take a turn to let Mitsuru scan, she will tell you exactly what their weaknesses is. Alright. Oh, I was thinking she was going to be able to kill that thing in that hit. Ah, damn it. Now that we're in floor 6, we have a chance of getting a new persona. I would still suggest getting Pixie and Apsaris if you run into them again, if you've already used them up, because they can be used to help you make other personas. One of the trophies is to complete the persona list. I already have that from the male protagonist playthrough, but we'll see about trying to do that again for the female just for this walkthrough. I know there's another couple more shadows that we could face, but I'm not running into them. Oh, there you are, Zoe. I was wondering where you were. Okay, that's one we've already faced. So, a lot of the game is going to be these runs through Tartarus. Oh, and thank God this is not Persona 3 or Persona 3 FES. Oh my God. Those shadows that have like the little lines above their heads, they are distressed. That's basically a symbol that you are way more powerful than them. In Persona 3 and Persona 3 FES, if you ran into a shadow like that as you're exploring Tartarus, they would run away from you and do this ear-splitting screech constantly. Like to the point of I didn't have headphones for a PlayStation 2, but they made my ears bleed. It was so loud. They got rid of that screech on Persona 3 Portable. They have the screech on Persona 3 Reload, but it's not as bad. So they learned their lesson. This is what I'm looking for. Those small shadows are generally going to be these giant beetles. These are weak to Garu. And it's about the best way to kill them is to hit them with Garu and do an all-out attack. Otherwise, you're going to be sitting here for a while. They are the toughest shadow you're going to face for this floor, for this series of floors. Right. I think I already have the Apsaris, so I think we're going for the money. Yep. I think at this point I've already gotten a Apsaris and a Pixie. So let me just heal up real quick. So that is all the new monsters for this series of floors. After we get past the next mini boss, there is one more shadow that we can face. And then that's all the shadows we can face on this run of Tartarus until we beat the first boss. Alright, get some money. Alright, floor is fully explored, so let's run back and go up the stairs, depending on what kind of shadow you are. No, I don't care. There is a certain type of shadow that I'm looking for, because beating it for the first time is a trophy. And it's good to beat them anyway, because you can get a lot of money. Okay, let's see. Come over here and kill you. Come over here. Oh, you saw me. I do like how we have more reach with the Naginata than the short sword for the male protagonist, because I'm able to hit some things from way out there that I would miss with the male protagonist. Yeah, let's try this way. It's like, that's an advantage mine. That's an advantage mine. Okay, showing this one because Apsaris got to level 4, which means she gives us the Bufu card. I'm not going to actively try and get cards for all personas, but there are going to be some that I am going to actually go for. That's more going to be near in-game, when we're getting ready for some super bosses. Hello. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. You're still a pain in the ass. Come here. Not even worth it. Well, I guess it's worth it, because I do, even though our goal right now is only level 7, we do want to get more levels for later. So, oh, there it is. A gold shadow, very rare, very quick if you can catch it. This gives us a wealth hand. They will always get the first 2 moves. Pray they don't run. Pray for a critical. I did not. They ran. If you can kill one, you will get a wealth coin, which you can sell for a lot of gold. First time you kill one of those, you get the trophy Grasping at Greed. If I run into some more, I will only show the battle if I'm going to kill it. We have plenty of opportunities for more gold shadows, so don't worry if you don't get it in this first run through. Because there's going to be gold shadows all through Tartarus. Alright, so floor 9. Alright. Can I... Okay, there's a shadow. Hi. Okay, we got a muscle drink. Alright, so once we make an Omakane... Ooh, gold shadow. Okay, it ran away. If I didn't show the battle, that means it ran away. Come here. But, what was I saying? Yeah, all we need is Omakane and get to the top floor. And we've reached every goal, so long as we have 50,000 gold whenever I sell everything. Or not gold, yen. It's yen. This is Japanese. Okay. Nope. Let's go forward. That's a beetle. Okay, showing this one because we have a new persona. This is Angel. Now, Angel is a persona that uses Garu. So if you want to give Yukari a break, you still have wind spells. Come here, you son of a bitch. Someone block him. Thank you. Another muscle drink. Now, do you absolutely have to get a muscle drink in Tartarus? No, because you'll be able, when you need it, you'll be able to buy a muscle drink if you want. But it is nice to get one for free. Alright, next mini boss area. Just like the last one, we have a teleporter. So I'm going to go back down and I'm going to make the Omakane. Except that I should have waited. If you haven't noticed, the clock allows you to spend some money to heal your party and to save. But where I screwed up. To make an Omakane without using up the Apsaris would be Angel. There is a way to make an Omakane with Orpheus. And what I should have done was done the Angel Nekomata. And then just made a new Nekomata. I ended up doing that. I ended up using Orpheus. I should not have done that. Reason I should not have done that. Orpheus's bash skill is strike. It's the only strike skill that we have. This mini boss that we're about to fight is weak to strike. And only weak to strike. It is strong versus all magic. Takes normal damage from slash and pierce. With it being weak to strike, we could do the same strategy that we did with the previous mini boss, and we could have had Shiome use her bash from Orpheus to knock them down, and then all-out attack, and killed them easily. Because I got rid of Orpheus, we now do not have a dash. Or a bash. We have our personas that we want for when we get out of here, but we're now gonna... I'm realizing it now that I may have fucked up. So I'm looking over, it's like, do I have a strike skill? No. Cleave is a slash. Yep, that's not gonna help. You've got cleave. Fuck. So I've quickly realized I fucked up. I didn't even think about it until after I made the persona. I'm like, wait, bash, I need bash. So this is going to be a harder mini boss fight than it should be, because if we had waited until after this to use Orpheus up, we would have bash, and this would be take a couple of turns but be very easily done. So what we want to do here, so I'm looking to see what kind of magic they use and see what we can do that won't have a weakness. They'll use each element. They will use Agi, Bufu, Zio, which is lightning, and Magaru. Magaru will hit everyone. They also have Tentrafu, which causes panic. If you are panicked, you cannot use your persona. And they can also use Dia to heal themselves. So very annoying. So I wanted a persona that didn't have any weaknesses to any of the elements, so we stuck with Angel. But because of how this is going to go, we basically just have to physically attack them. Now, as far as weaknesses, I made sure that my persona doesn't have any weaknesses. However, as you see, Yukari is weak to lightning, and now since she got hit twice, she is dizzy, which means she would miss a turn. Junpei is weak to wind, but Junpei has Repatra, which will help someone that is dizzy or knocked down and help them back up so that they don't miss their turn. Whew, thank God that missed. That's a 40% chance for that to hit. So you have a better than 50-50 chance of missing it, of it missing. It's the 40% that you got to worry about. All right, so what I was looking at here is Mitsuru gave us some of these skill items. And I usually don't use these, but this is going to help us out. So this cadenza, this is basically like in Persona 3 Reload, your, what were they called there? I will remember what it's called after I'm no longer thinking about it, but basically like a limit break. So they didn't have that here in the original version that was added for Persona 3 Reload. But instead of you just getting it by doing damage or taking damage, you get items for it. Alright, so one down. Yeah, we're just going to basically focus down each enemy. But yeah, the cadenza, it heals 50% of all your party's HP. And it also increases your evasion, so you're harder to hit. So I was like, that's going to help us out. And especially, it really helped because they kept trying to do lightning to Yukari, and she dodged it a lot. So that definitely helped out. But unlike, say, the mainline Shin Megami Tensei games, where if you get a stat boost or stat decrease, it's permanent, unless you counteract it with a spell. In the Persona series, it only lasts 3 turns. Alright, since they didn't focus down Yukari, she gets back up. Of course, she fucking misses, so I have to kill this guy with a critical. Why do I always get the critical when they're about to die? Why can't I get the critical, like, right now when they're full health? Of course you go for Yukari. Alright, take you... Well... Yeah, Bufu's not gonna do nothing. Alright. That was weaker than last time, Yukari. Critical? Nope, not crit, just extra damage. Alright. Oh, Magaru. That hits everyone, and Junpei is weak to that. Now, since he didn't get hit by a weakness or get criticaled, Junpei is not dizzy, but doesn't matter. Floor fight's done. So yeah, if we had had Bash, that fight would have been a whole hell of a lot easier. So let me just quickly heal everybody because we took some damage. But we're getting there. So no, we do not need to get to floor 15 for the next mini-boss. The next one is floor 14. So we have one new type of monster here. Yeah, they're basically trying to tell you, like, yeah, you can separate the party and let them fight by themselves. They'll gain more XP, but I don't like to do that unless we are just way more powerful. There's our new monster, our new shadow. These guys are weak to fire and I believe ice. So I'm just, yeah. Fire and ice, and they're strong against lightning. So Junpei is really good against them, and if you have Bufu, that's really good against them. I think at this point I was just getting to Junpei to let him kill them, and if I got a critical, cool. Now we're on this series of floors. There are 2 or 3 new personas that we can get that are somewhat rare. One of which is we could get a Nekomata card here. There are 1 or 2 others that we can get here, but they are fairly rare to get here. If I run into them, if I actually the cards pop up, I'll show them. Ooh, Goat Shadow. Back up, guys. Don't scare it. Okay. Come from behind. All right. Even if you get a player advantage, it's going to be enemy advantage, so they get 2 turns. Okay, waited. Critical. Got it. All right, that's grasping at greed. That is the first time when I've been trying to record that I actually killed one of those things for a recording. I tried a few times to do male protagonist, and every time I would run into one of those, they would always run away. The first time I decided fuck recording it and just go through the game, fucking got it. First one I ran into, I killed. Like, you couldn't do that when I was recording. But yeah, if you're wondering why there's no male protagonist run, if you want to know the male protagonist path, just watch Reload. I wasn't feeling recording the male protagonist path. I went through it and got every trophy except for the one for beating it with both protagonists. So I decided, well, since the female protagonist story is different a little bit, we'll record that. And if you want to know the male protagonist path, there's Reload. Alright, that is the floor. Let's go to floor 12. So we've shown all the monsters, and as I've stated before, Tartarus is absolutely random. Angel's now level 5, so I get the Garu card, which is why I'm showing this. There's going to be some personas where I get multiple cards. I'm not going to show you every time I get the card, just the first time. Alright, floor 12. 2 more floors. We'll have our last mini-boss, then 2 more floors, and we are done. Now, because Tartarus isn't really all that interesting, I am trying to decide how I want to do Tartarus in the future. Because I really do think that probably the most boring part of the game watching is watching someone go through Tartarus. Especially if you're editing out battles like I am, because there is no interesting puzzles or anything to Tartarus. They didn't have a lot of the interesting things that were in Reload, like the monad doors or things like that. So it's very much what you see is what you get for Tartarus. And especially once I show you a fight with each of the new monsters, then it's really like there's nothing else to show you. Plain and simple. There's just nothing else. But we are every month gonna have to make a run through Tartarus. So I'm very much trying to consider, how do I want to do Tartarus? Do I just want to show you the battles and the new personas that we make, or do I want to show you the run through? I don't know. Because what makes this game so long? Because I even was skipping through the story on the male protagonist to get through as quickly as possible, and it still took me almost 80 hours to complete it because of Tartarus. So I'm kind of like, do I want to? And especially for this, the battles are going to be edited out, so it's not going to be that bad. But then if it's just me running through a randomly generated dungeon, that's not going to be very interesting, and it's not going to be very helpful for a walkthrough. So give me some ideas what you want to see. Do you want to see me just run through Tartarus and do it like we're doing in this video? Or do you want me to just show you the battles and any personas we make and can get? What do you want to see? Because I'm torn on what I want to do. Part of me is like, I might as well just show you the run through. But part of me is like, this is going to be the most boring part of this walkthrough. is going through Tartarus every month. Alright, so we're on floor 13. Once we're through here, we've got our next mini-boss, and then we're almost done. So, yeah. Yay, we're almost done! Let's see here. Well, I guess I picked the right path at the beginning. Yep, there's the stairs, so let's go this way. But yeah, I will always completely map out each floor. Oh, something to be aware of. I have not mentioned that yet. If you spend more than 10 minutes on a single floor, then your navigator will start talking about death has arrived, or something to that nature. There is a super powerful shadow called the Reaper that will appear if you spend more than 10 minutes on a single floor. At this point in the game, you are dead if you fight it. You are too weak to stand up to the Reaper. It will destroy you. It is an in-game level shadow. Occasionally on shuffle time, you will see a card that has something, like say money or a persona, but it has a black skull and crossbones on it. If you get that card, you will get the reward, but it cuts the time for the Reaper to appear in half. Now, after you have explored each floor once, if you go back, you could get special floors that don't have monsters but have a lot of treasure chests, or it's very dark. Those floors, Reaper's coming quick, like 2 minutes. You want to just get through. Alright, so we have made Alp, and I very much was considering making Jack Frost with Alp and Omikane, since it's a magician, but then I was like, I would have to be able to make another Omikane. It did not matter if we had Nekomata or Jack Frost, so long as it's Magician Arcana. The Arcana was what was important on what personas we walk out here with. But any other personas don't matter. Alright, here is our final mini-boss for this block of Tartarus. This is the Chariot, Rampage Drive. This thing, don't do any physical attacks. He nullifies Slash, nullifies Pierce, and reflects Strike. So he takes no damage to Slash or Pierce, and if you do Strike, he's just going to reflect it back to you. Do not do Fire. He resists Fire. He also nullifies Light and Dark, but you should not have those at this point. As you see, he has Mazil, which is a party-wide hitting lightning spell. He also uses Assault Drive, which is a light hitting strike to one of your party members. He also has Tarakaja, which increases his attack. Have Junpei, if he doesn't need to pick anybody up, have Junpei raise your defense. Yukari's going to get up on her own, so use Rokugaja and raise each party member's defense, and only target one. And then just use Ice, Electric, Wind on it. Not too tough. I think this is actually easier than the last one, since if you don't have Bash. If you have Bash, this is the hardest of the mini-bosses right now. Now the sad thing is we shocked him, but because he nullifies all physical attacks, that made that not work, because usually if you shock an enemy, you're almost guaranteed a critical hit with your next physical attack. But since he would nullify the damage, you can't take advantage of that. But you would fucking miss, wouldn't you? Yukari, be awesome. Thank you. That is that. Now, when you get close to the final floor and you face your last mini-boss of your exploration before you get to the barrier, all floors after that last mini-boss are going to be much smaller and have fewer enemies than everything that's come before. So the next floor is going to be very small and just have a couple of enemies. I guess they realize, hey, you're almost at the end. You're probably sick of this place, so we'll make it easier for you. But yeah, we are just about done. Probably 2 or 3 enemies here, if I can fucking catch him! Okay, I saw you just go through that swing. This isn't Dark Souls. You didn't do a dive roll. Come here. Come here. Yes. Alright, so Snuff Soul. I think that's the whole floor now, isn't it? Yeah, that's the whole floor. So yeah, very, very, very quick and easy. And now we are at the top. There is a barrier that we cannot get through. There's the chest that has the old document 1. That is the last of our goals. We have done everything that we want to do for this run of Tartarus. So, at this point, if you think you've got the 50,000 gold, leave. I'm going to make a save and end here, and I'm going to test it and see if I get 50,000 when I sell everything. If I do, we will continue. If I don't, I'm going to do a little bit more grinding. But I will see you guys in the next video.